Many of you asked, Coach Davina, can we see the full workshop? We missed it. I heard you. So what you're going to get today is the full workshop. So you can start and stop, listen to it on your drive to work or whatever you're doing. So here's the full video. Enjoy.
Future homeowners, family generational builders, homeowners again. We want to thank you for coming out on this beautiful Saturday morning. This is an event that is sponsored by the Lynchburg Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta, along with DB Homes for Hope that has been in our community, impacting many over and over again, and we wouldn't be able to do it if we didn't have the sponsorship of Lynchburg Regional Business Alliance, this beautiful facility that made it for us to have this event. We thank you for coming. You are in for a treat. So much information that you will gain today, and we hope that you will use today. But the most important thing, you made the first important step to come in to get information. So we thank you for that. Now, we know some of you probably have a job or could have worked overtime, definitely could have slept. We want to make it a little worth your while. We want to give you a payday today. And we would love to give you a large payday because you really do deserve a big payday just for getting up and coming out here. But my sisters, please stand up now. And we want to give you your first, we just love you so much for coming out, your first payday. Thank you for coming. Enjoy.
Good morning. Hi. On behalf of the Lynchburg Regional Business Alliance, welcome. I'm Mercedes. I'm the Director of Events here. We're grateful to have you here for Path to Homeownership, empowering families and building communities. Today's event brings together people from across our community who all share a common goal, and that's helping individuals and families better understand the path to homeownership. Homeownership is more than just purchasing property. It represents stability, opportunity, and a place where families can build their futures. When people are able to put down roots, it strengthens neighborhoods, supports local schools, and creates a deeper sense of community. It also matters to our regional economy. Strong communities depend on strong workforce, and housing plays a major role in that. When people can live, work, and build their lives here, it helps our entire region grow and thrive. At the Alliance, we care deeply about the long-term success of our region, and that includes ensuring people have access to opportunities that improve quality of life. Events like this help connect individuals with the knowledge, resources, and partners who can make home ownership feel attainable. Thank you to our organizations, speakers, and partners who are sharing their expertise today, and thank you to each of you for taking the time to invest in your future. We're glad you're here, and we hope today provides valuable information and meaningful connection as you explore the path to homeownership. Welcome.
Good morning. Let me say good morning once more. Good morning. Okay, you should be happy that you came because you've been paid already, right? You're going to walk away with what? Absolutely. You've been paid. So first thing I want to remind you, if you would make sure you silence your phones. I'm not saying turn them off because, you could have some emergency calls. But if you would silence those phones, we would appreciate that, okay? I do bring you greetings this morning on behalf of the Lynchburg Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. How many of you know about Delta Sigma Theta Sorority? Know a little bit? Okay, well, we are the ladies, the members that you see in the black, red, and white. We are the ladies of the Lynchburg Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority. And today was a dream of ours. But today, it is a reality because you're here, we're here, the weather's beautiful, and we're going to have some wonderful things happening today. But before I speak, I do have to acknowledge, with every project, there has to be a lead. It has to be someone who pulls the team together. And I want to acknowledge Davina Bare. Stand up, Davina.
People can dream. We all can dream. We can have hopes, high hopes. But when it comes to putting those dreams in action, making a reality, it takes work. It takes team effort. So Davina has been our lead. I want to thank you so much for how you've led. And I know it hasn't been easy, but she's been pulling the team together, and all these ladies around, they have been working good. And I'm thankful for the leadership that we have, the team effort, and working together. Thanks again. And this is not the end. This is the beginning, hopefully, of a relationship that we have established with you. Because today, when you finish your workshops, we want you to complete your survey. And that survey is designed to let us know what's next. What are your needs after this? What else can we do to help you? So make sure you complete those surveys, because we're going to use that information to gauge our next step. Now, why are we doing this? First of all, it is truly inspiring for me to look at and see so many of you taking intentional steps, meaningful steps to become home owners. Your presence shows your commitment and your courage. And for that, you should be clapping, because you're here. Now, this workshop is a part of a large mission of our sorority. We have programs, we offer activities, but everything we do is centered around 5 points. To us, it's known as our 5 programmed thrusts. But I just want to share with you those 5 items: international awareness and involvement, that's all one; physical and mental health; education development; political awareness; and economic development. And this particular workshop centers on, you name it, economic development. And it pulls in some other things also. So I want you to know why we are here and why this is important to us. Now, since Delta's inception back in 1913, the sorority has been committed to uplifting communities. And that's what we're doing today. This is a part of uplifting our community, your community. Owning a home is not just a place to live. It's about building generational wealth. What do we mean by that? When you buy a car, it depreciates, right? It depreciates right when you pull it off the lot. When you buy a house and you open the door, you walk in, it what? Up. That's right. You get equity. And so when you think about generational, you think about your children, your grandchildren. You know, we're not here to live forever. So once you have a home and it's fully paid or partially paid, think about your children. That's generational wealth for them down the road. Your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. So that's why it is important that you take this step to date, not only for you, but for the future, but for your families. As someone said earlier, we sponsor programs like this because we want you to gain knowledge. Knowledge is powerful. A lot of times the stumbling block is what you don't know. That's what the stumbling block is, but knowledge is very important. And so we hope that you walk away from this workshop with knowledge, with power. As you move through this morning's workshop, I encourage you, ask questions, take notes. You have tablets before you. Ask all the questions you want to. There is no wrong question to be asked. If you don't ask a question, you're going to walk away with what? Limited information. Get an understanding, get a clear understanding. And if you walk away and you forget to ask questions, you're going to have our contact information. Please call us. And if we don't know the answer, we'll get you to the right person who can give you the answer that you're looking for. Not the answer you're looking for, but the right answer. We believe in you. This is your journey, but keep in mind, you're not taking it alone. You have your community. You have the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated behind you, and we are cheering for you every step of the way. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for investing in your future. And with all of that being said, we are ready to live this dream, beginning with you right now, this morning. So again, welcome, and we are happy that you're here. Thank you.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I just want to say thank you. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to be here. So before I started working with DB Homes and Hope, Homes for Hope, my path to homeownership didn't look like one. I didn't really have a path. I didn't know which direction to go. And getting started on that path, it was a bit overwhelming in the beginning. I didn't know where to start or how to start. But once I realized that it's okay to ask for help, and that's where Davina came in. I had so many questions, and what you don't know, you just don't know. And so I was eager to learn about how to become a homeowner, not just for me, but for my kids. I wanted to break those generational curses that says that wasn't in the cards for me. But I'm so glad that God shuffles my deck for me, and he makes that happen. Um, so after I started working with Davina, things just started to change. I found out how to advocate for myself. I began to call people about previous debts that I had had, and I learned to budget, which was major for me. There was finances there that I just didn't know what to do with at the time, and so then they got put in places where they didn't need to be. But I learned how to just budget, and with that, I started to understand the process, gain confidence, and again, just advocate for myself. And it does take determination and discipline, and so I also had to put those factors into play. So I guess the surprising thing for me was the small changes made like a big difference. Just calling and, like I say, advocating for myself and getting things wiped off and dismissed that I thought couldn't change my situation. There were these programs that existed, and I used those. I used my resources. I used the people around me, people who had already owned homes, and I just gained all that knowledge and soaked it in from them, and then I applied it. It's definitely not good if you just have all this information sitting there and you don't apply it. So apply it. Use your resources. So where I am now, from where I started just being someone's roommate. I didn't have my kids here yet in Lynchburg, and so it was tough going through that journey. But now I'm renting, and I don't want to leave anything, on the table to stop me and hinder me from my path to homeownership. So what I did was I caught myself up where I'm at, so that when I do leave there, I leave in good standing, so that I can go into homeownership debt free, and just with that start. Um, in the process, I'm now renting my home. I've brought my kids here. They get to watch me on this journey. And my credit score is rising. Things that were no are becoming yeses. And I'm just moving forward, and I'm so happy about that. In this journey, I've gained confidence and peace and financial freedom, which was big for me. I always felt like I was in a chokehold with that part, but because I've learned all these things, I'm now able to put the money in the right spots and, save. Not just for me, but again, for my children. Home ownership, like I said, I thought it was impossible, but again, my God said it's possible. Um, I wouldn't be here without the help of Davina, without God. And I just keep pushing. I encourage everyone to get the help. It's there, use it. Um, so that is my journey. I am going to be a homeowner, and I know that this is what God has, designed for me, and He could have the same thing for you. So, with that being said, thank you.
All right, well, good morning. So now I'm going to shake it up a little bit, because we know that every day we make financial decisions, right? You heard Cassandra's story. She is on the path to home ownership. She's getting revved up, and her baby's going to benefit too, and her grandbabies. So the decisions that we make either help or hurt us. And we've all made some decisions, right? But we can recover. We can recover. So we're going to play a game, and you're going to participate in front of you on your table. So figure out who's going to hold the paddle. You have a thumbs up, meaning it's going to increase the score. So it's going to help you. But then there's also some crazy stuff that we do, and it can hurt our score. So we're going to play the credit score game. You do have to come to a consensus at your table, because I'm going to ask you a question, and we're going to start off in this game. Our score right now is wimpy. I'm going to tell you, it's only 491. Right, but we all start somewhere. I've seen worse, believe me. We have one credit card, and we got a car payment just last year. But sometimes we like to max that credit card out. So we're going to play this game, and you're going to play with me. You're going to tell me, do you think it's going to hurt us or it's going to help us? And then we're going to see what the results say. We're going to use the Vantage 3.0 score. So it starts with 300 all the way to 850. When you get to 650 and above, those lenders looking for you. They're excited to see you. They're excited to see you. But you're going to have to say yes to 3 questions before you get there. So don't come and try to get in a realtor's car if you don't have any money. Don't even go call the lender if you don't have a 650 and above. Because they don't have good conversation with you, but they're going to be like, baby, you need to go see Coach. And then come back. So y'all ready to play? We got those paddles? All right. So we have 491 credit score, 1 card, and 1 car payment. Okay, scenario 1, we're ready. You can pick the score. We already know. What's our score? Oh, y'all gotta have some pep. Right, because we're gonna start at 491, but we're gonna get to a 650 and above. We're gonna get there. You heard Cassandra's story? Do you think God only smiles for her? No, we're all his favorite. Okay, so let's go. So we are ready for scenario 1. Scenario 1, you're gonna miss a credit card payment like you forgot it was your kid's birthday. So you're going to miss a credit card payment for the first time. Your credit score is going to drop. But how much? Do you think it's going to drop by just 10 points? Do you think it's going to drop by 20 points? I need to see them paddles. I'm going to stop when I see everybody's paddle. Do you think it's going to stop at 50 points? Remember, we missed the credit card payment. That means it wasn't just 1 day or 15 days. We hit that 30. Because when you start seeing numbers, that means it's tough. All right. So this table right here, the winner over here, I don't see your paddle. We got to all play. Because that's how life works. What we do financially impacts the people around us. Some people, they're not even taking our calls no more because they know we begging. Yes. You can't even come to Thanksgiving comfortably. And we don't want that to be our future, right? All right, let's see. This is going to hit us. Oh, she already put it up there. Negative 53. Actually, that's the wrong one. So, oh, that was a guess. All right. So it's going to hit us a negative 100. Show us. So that, yes, whoa, that's rough. That is rough. Nobody's trying to say yes to you at 391. You're almost at the end. There is a such thing as zero. That you're 18, you don't have any credit, nobody allowed you to be an authorized user, or you just really tore it up. But look, we went from 491 by 1 missed payment 30 days. I didn't say 60, 90. One time. One time. All right, let's go to scenario number 2, because it's got to get better, right? Yeah. All right, scenario number 2. Your credit card company has given up on trying. Did you hear that? They gave up on us. Given up on trying to collect payment and is sending us to collections. Woo! How much will our score decrease? We saw it goes down 100 just for missing 30 days. We're starting at 491. Do you think it's going to go down by 110? She said more. Put them paddles up. 120?
More? What do you think? But we know it's going down because they didn't give it up. They say we can't get nothing out of these folks. And them collectors, they gonna wear you out. They gonna call your job. They're gonna call your mama. There's a reason why they ask you, who else can we contact if we can't reach you? They're not doing that because they nice. They wanna find out who can give them the money. And don't let you have co-signed with somebody. You just put them in a pickle. They really not inviting you to nothing. So it's gonna be rough. So she guessed 120, but oh no, it's bigger. It's a 168. Ooh wee, 323. That is tough, but it's not hopeless. So what you're learning so far, it is important that we what? Pay on time. Let's say it, pay on time. Right, that should be in vogue, pay on time. Because who wants to raise their hand? Are any of us liars? Nobody's raising their hand and say we're a liar, right? That means when we signed that agreement, we volunteered to be in debt. Nobody gave us the chokehold and said, baby, you're going to get this credit card. Nobody. They may have given you a t-shirt or a pizza or a discount at J.C. Penney's, but they didn't force you to do it. So because you're not liars, we should pay on time.
They hit those college campuses.
Oh, yes, they get them while they're young. Stay away, baby. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right. Number 3. We're going to have 7 scenarios. Number 3. All right. Things have really gone downhill. At 323, can it get any worse? Obviously, yes. This time we are filing bankruptcy. Ooh, bankruptcy that stays on our credit report for 7 to 10 years. Your baby was elementary school, now they about to graduate. It's still on your report. So let's see, how much will our score decrease? So is it gonna go down by 100? It's going to go down by 150. So you're saying more? I don't see any power. 175. More. 200. Okay. So she guessed 191. All right, this goes down. So this one's, when you click it, the actual one will be for bankruptcy 181. So we're down to 310. So this person needs to get the memo. Pay on time. She advocated for herself. She called and said, look, it's rough right now, but I'm gonna make the payment. Can you give me a little time? Can you reduce the payment temporarily? Some money is better than no money. But if you try to duck and dodge, put them on voicemail, okay, they got a plan for you. Scenario number 4. Oh, yes, we got that tax return. Woo, we ready. You can now pay down most of your credit card debt. Your credit score will go up because your utilization is going down. So you're not gobbling up the chocolate cake. You're just getting a little morsel, right? Okay, so let's see how much it will go up. How much will it go up? It's going to go up 50 points. Y'all not playing no more. It's going to go up 75 points. 75, okay. Anybody say 100? Don't be scared. It's just a game. It's not really your score. This is a time to take chances. All right, so you got 100 over here. Anybody give me 125? 125. Going once. 130. All right, we gonna stop at 130? Okay, they said stop. So let's hit it. The actual is gonna go up by 141. Ooh, they like us when we pay. It's like getting a pat on the back. And then many times they will increase the limit. They want to entice you. They good at paying their bills. It really should be called a debt score. But we live in capitalism. When you know the rules, you win with capitalism. When you don't, you're in the po house, as they say in my part of the woods. And it's rough. It's rough. But when we know better, we what? Do better. Okay, so now we've paid it off, paid it down. Let's keep going because you've reduced that utilization. All right, scenario number 5. You have one credit card which you can now pay off. Not pay down, pay off. And get your available credit to 100%. That means our utilization is 0%. Woo-wee. They calling you, sending you stuff through the mail. Before, they ain't even want to talk to you when it was at 300, 400. Now they sending you stuff like they're your friend. Giving you stuff, sending you stuff in other people's name. But how much do you think it's going to go up? So, do we think it's going to go up 50 points? More. 75 points. 100 points. More. 125. More. 150. Right there. More. Somebody say more. 175? Okay. All right. Let's hit it with it. Show them so they can see it. Right, it goes up 153. So whether you guess right or not, we know it went up. This is a win. So this is the move we want to make. Pay on time, and if we can, pay more than that minimum payment. Because the minimum payment just keeps them from calling you. But they're still charging you interest. So at our local bank, we get 1% or less in terms of interest. In a high yield savings account, we get 3 to 5%. But when they give us a card, it's what, 10, 12, 15. You might get 0% for 12 months, but after that, it goes up 29%. 30%, double digits. But your interest that you're receiving is peanuts. So play the game well, because it is a debt score. Without debt, you have no score. You have no score. So our lenders can talk to you about manual underwriting. However, I want us to play the game of capitalism well, okay? Anybody plan to leave the United States? Okay, great. You're staying here, let's play the game. We have 2 more scenarios. I'm looking at your timekeeper, we're doing well. All right, time to expand your credit. So you're gonna give somebody permission to pull your credit, giving your Social Security. So you didn't pull it yourself, you gave someone else permission. They pulled your credit score and you're applying and being approved. Yes, you can get approved at 491, but the interest rate is like in the 30s. But you can get approved, even for a car loan. Depending on where you go, they'll give it to you because they know you're going to be in debt for them for a long time. And we don't want to play that game. Okay, so you're getting approved for a new credit card. Will this help or hurt your score? Is it going to help? Let me see the face. Is it going to help or hurt? I want to see. Come on, make a guess. Help or hurt? Help or hurt? Don't be scared. Let me see. Okay. I think we divided down the room. So actually, it's going to help your score because it's called credit score, but it should be called a what? Debt score. When you get a credit card, another one, they're trying to learn your model. Can they cater credit toward you? And it starts out with a 0 balance. They give you a limit, but you haven't used it yet. But now you have access to more credit that they want you to use. But we want to stay at 30% or less in terms of gobbling up. But let's talk about this. Let's see how much. How much do you think is going to help? Do you think it's going to help by 10 points? Oh, she already did it. All right. She's faster than me. So it goes up by 54. So it does go up. It does go up. But you're still not quite at 670, 650. We're going to go into the next scenario. The last one. All right, so we got another credit card, and now you think you need another car. Because the one that you just got 1 year ago, I know, but people do this.
Yeah.
You just got a year, but it doesn't have the best sound system. It doesn't have all the new stuff. So we need another car. Or your child just turned 16. Why would you give a 16-year-old new car? You know they're going to tear it up. But it happens. So we need another car, and we get pre-approved. We didn't get pre-approved by the regular dealers. We got pre-approved by some dealer. I ain't gonna say no names in Lynchburg. But they pre-approved you, and it's double digits. Do you think this is gonna help or hurt your score? Okay, they say hurt. Come on, pull them up. Somebody says help, hurt. Absolutely, it hurts your score, but let's see how much. Because when getting a car payment, it automatically puts us what? Deeper into debt. Immediately. And she already told you it depreciates as soon as you roll it off. Still got the new car smell, but it's not new. How much? Is it going to, the guess is 50? That's what we're going with? All right, let's see. How much does it hurt our score? Help by plus 38 minimal, but you put you deeper into debt. Hi, Nicole. It puts you deeper into debt. So go to the next slide. I want to talk about there are 5 impacts to the credit score. We played this game, but you're playing this game every day. Every day. If you're using credit, you're playing this game. There are 5 components to it. What's the biggest impact to the credit score? Right, say it loud. Right, payment, that's 35%. Out of 100%, that's 35%. The second thing, what is it? Utilization, that's 30%. So if you got 35%, you get in the green, and that 30% in the green, 35 plus 30, give me what? 65, add a 0. 650 and above credit score, right there. Pay your bills on time. Say it, pay your bills on time. Say it, pay your bills on time. Right. Pay your bills on time. And keep the utilization 30% and below. That's what we want to do. There's some other things. So length of credit. Yeah, it helps a little bit. But 15% compared to 35 and 30. So you don't close them even after you pay them off. Keep them, put a little something on it every now and then, at least by 6 months, so they don't close it. If that's a credit card. Your car payment, even after you pay it off, it'll stay up there for a little while, still helping your credit, and then it'll go away. All right, inquiries. That's when you give your social. So we don't want more than 4 in a 2-year period. Because if you have too many, it looks like you are eager to get credit for a reason. And if it's not because of a mortgage, you have 14 to 30 days, or a car, 14 days, and it only hits once. And then, so they're hard and soft. Soft means you pull it yourself. You go to annual credit report and you pull your own, credit report and stuff like that. And then credit mix. Is it a credit card, car loan, student loan, which I want you to stay clear of them, mortgage. That's what we want, right? Say it, mortgage. Mortgage. That's how we build generational wealth. Not by having all the credit cards in the nation, but you need minimal things because it really should be called a debt score. All right, so you guys are ready to move forward.
All right, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with an introduction from each of you, and then we will get started with our panel questions and answers to help build our home ownership knowledge. So I'll turn it over.
Good afternoon. I'm Donna Vincent. I'm the director at Habitat for Humanity here in Lynchburg.
Hello, my name is Letitia Elliott. I'm a mortgage loan officer broker with Nexa Mortgage, and I'm also a former educator of over 20 years.
Good morning. My name is Frank Webster. I'm a business development officer for Virginia Housing.
Good morning. I'm Sherry Miles with DHCD, the Department of Housing and Community Development, and I'm the program manager for homeownership programs.
Good morning. My name is Mike Osei Jr. I'm a realtor with Long and Foster. I've been a realtor for over 20 years.
All right, we're going to get started with our panel questions. And so what we're going to do, we're going to have some questions come up and you're going to take turns going through those. All right, the first question, what programs exist right now that people in this room may not know about?
How many of you know about Habitat for Humanity? Wonderful. Thank you. I think Habitat for Humanity, sometimes there's some myths associated with it. The first of which is that we give homes away. We do not. We have 322 homeowners in Lynchburg as a result of our program. So I'm hoping that there'll be an opportunity for you to go by the table at the back and learn about our program and how it works. And our program is designed to help people with low incomes. I don't like to say low-income families. That sounds like a forever thing. It's people with low incomes acquire affordable homeownership.
Some programs that are out there may be considered down payment assistance grants or down payment assistance programs. And I think it's important that people know the difference between a grant, which is a program that does not have to be paid back, and an actual program where there may be a silent second mortgage or a lien on that. So there are multiple programs, but there are differences in those programs.
So first-time home buyers generally have obstacles in two areas. The first one is they don't have enough money to close on a house. A lot of first-time home buyers, they have good jobs, they have good income, they have good credit, but because everything costs so much in the economy today, they just don't have enough money. That's one of the areas that Virginia Housing really is strong in. We offer both down payment and closing cost assistance. That's the things that you need to have at closing when you're purchasing your first home. We helped like 6,000 families or households buy a home in the last year, and 98% of those 6,000 homes got some form of down payment and closing cost assistance. So we can actually help a borrower get into a home with no down payment instead of making a down payment. And many times we can also provide additional help in the area of closing costs. Some of the money that we provide is a grant, which is free money with no strings attached. It never has to be repaid. Sometimes it's a loan in the form of a second mortgage, but even when you take it as a loan, it's extended out. It's a small amount spread out over 30 years. It's a fixed rate, and many times the payments are very affordable, between $50 and $100 a month. So it's a great way to overcome that first obstacle to get into your home. We also have the other area that first-time homebuyers struggle in is having an affordable payment because houses cost so much. Interest rates are so high now, and that means payments are high, and it prevents many otherwise qualified first-time home buyers from being successful to get into their home. So we have two programs that help in that area. One is called the Spark program. Spark, if you're a eligible first-time home buyer, that would lower your interest rate by 1%. Going rate in the market right now without Spark is 6%. With Spark, it would put you down to like 5%. That has a real positive impact on your monthly payments. The other program that we have that helps with lowering your monthly payment is called the First Home Dream program. It is for generational first-time home buyers. So a generational first-time home buyer, by our definition, is the home buyer and the household hasn't ever owned a home. And we look back one generation to the parents of the buyers, the household, and they cannot have owned a home in the last 3 years. If the borrower meets that criteria, there's a 2% reduction in the interest rate. So that 6% rate doesn't go down to 5, it goes down to 4. That's for the entire 30 years. That has a real significant impact on the monthly payment. On a $300,000 sales price property, that would lower the monthly payments on that house by about $325 a month. Yeah. We created that program because we know that there are families that are stuck in a rut. They have not been able to experience the benefits of generational wealth building that comes from home ownership. So Virginia Housing is really committed to trying to help people break out of that rut, to be able to buy their first home and start experiencing that generational wealth building. And what's really cool about that is we don't tell a prospect, make a choice. Pick out, do you want down payment assistance or do you want help with having a lower monthly payment? That would be like offering, do you want cake or ice cream? Nobody wants to make that choice between cake or ice cream. We want both. Nobody wants to make that choice between, do you want down payment assistance or a lower payment? People want both. And so we make it possible at Virginia Housing where a borrower can get help on both the front end and the back end of the transaction. And that creates many opportunities for a home buyer prospect to become a home owner.
A lot of information. So I work with a state agency and we have homeownership programs. The 3 programs that we offer, 2 of them are down payment, and one of them is a savings account that Sabrina and I like to say is literally on steroids. So the savings account is called VITA. It's the Virginia Individual Development Account. We love alphabets here. So that account, for every dollar, if the client is qualified, for every dollar the client puts in, our program matches $10, up to $10,000. VITA. And Sabrina, right there, helps manage the program. So please make sure and see her. She's got flyers over there. So imagine going to closing with your $1,000 plus 10. So that's $11,000 for closing costs and down payment. Yes. And that is a grant. So that is money that is not due back. The other 2 programs are down payment assistance programs. And both of them provide down payment and closing costs on the home. Both of them are what we call a deferred loan. So not a grant. There is a lien placed against the home, but we don't have any payments. We don't have any interest. It's called a silent second, and it sits on the home for between 5 and 15 years. And then as long as you're still living in that home, we forgive it. Okay? So one program allows you to get up to between 10 and 15% of your sales price, up to $40,000. The other program is for income that's a little bit lower, and that one will go to 20% of the sales price, up to $50,000. Now, I'm going to sound like an overnight infomercial, but you can leverage both the savings program that Sabrina works on and the down payment and use them together. So can you imagine the $11,000 from the savings plus up to $40,000 from the down payment? There's $50,000. Then you go work with Frank and you get his Spark, which reduces your interest rate, and you get his closing costs and his down payment program, and they all work together. All right? So, yeah, exactly. So please make sure to stop by our table and Frank's table. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so with VITA, what we're looking at is the client needs to have at least a 580 credit score. And if you don't panic, because we have a pre-VITA program to build you up to get you to that 580. Okay? Yes. And on top of that, it's 80% or under of what we call the area median income. There are charts that HUD puts out that tells us. And I don't know do we have that on our table, Sabrina? Oh, okay. So we have the charts. It tells you by family size and by area in Virginia what that income looks like for your household and the willingness to participate.
I don't know how to even come back from that. They put me last. I was going to pretty much touch on all of those programs. But there is a program here with Lynn CAG that Jessica Thompson runs. I help teach first-time home buyers. She educates you on credit score, house counseling, budgeting, and also they offer grant programs in conjunction with some of these other programs and other lenders. So Lynn CAG is a more localized nonprofit organization that first-time home buyers can work with, that I work with a lot when I'm teaching the class and educating. So Jessica Thompson is the person's contact name. If you need, her information, you can meet with me after this, and I can get that to you. So.
Very good. And if you have a question in between some of our questions, do not hesitate to raise your hand and we can get your questions answered. All right, the next question. What are the biggest myths you hear about buying a home and what's the truth?
I think some of the biggest myths out there, number one, if you're a veteran, take advantage of your veteran loans. Sometimes people are not educated and they will say VA loans take a long time or the appraisal process is very strict, and that's not true. Veterans are some of the people who have, first of all, they deserve the home ownership. It's an honor, and we thank them for their service. But the foreclosure rate on a veteran home loan is many, many times less than any other loan type. And most veterans have better credit than most people realize. Also, when it comes to an appraisal, safety and wellness should be the goal for everyone. So that is what is required with a VA loan and an FHA loan appraisal, is safety and wellness. So some of the myths out there is that if you have to take advantage of an FHA loan or a VA loan, that the process is longer, and that is simply not true. Another myth that's out there is that you have to have perfect credit or you have to have 20% down in order to purchase a home. And that is also not true. As you have seen by Coach Davina, you have people that will walk with you through this process. All you have to do is start the conversation, and we are with you. We want you to get to the finish line. So have that conversation. Don't be afraid about somebody looking at your bank statements or your pay stubs. We have your best interests in mind. So from start to finish, we're with you. Start the conversation, get educated, and know that if you can envision it, you can be a homeowner.
I would kind of piggyback on the 20% down comment there. Many potential home buyers believe and have been told that to buy a house, they have to put 20% down. Or parents have even told the home buyers, prospects, oh, you got to put down at least 10% to purchase a home. And like I mentioned before, there's a lot of good people out there that work. They have good incomes, they have good credit, but they just can't come up with the money up front because everything costs so much. Waiting to save 10 or 20% down is like chasing the wind because it takes years to do. And by the time you get to the point where you've saved, if you've saved the goal, and generally the people don't, because there's always an expense that comes up that you're not expecting from somewhere. But then you find out, well, the house costs more, the interest rate is higher, and they still can't capitalize on that. They still can't purchase the home. So that's a myth that you have to put 10 or 20% down. It's a fool's errand. It's chasing the wind to try to save up that much money before you get the benefits of home ownership. The reality is there's a lot of organizations out that participate in the home buying process that have help, that have assistance. And we can take what you thought was going to be 20% down or 10% down, and we can make it be 0% down routinely. Like I said, 98% of the 6,000 households that we helped got down payment and closing cost assistance. And then you can leverage that, and you could go to DHCD potentially and get their assistance. You might be able to go to LNCAG or other local organizations and stack even more assistance on top of that. And so not everybody will get this. Not everybody would be able to do it to this extent. But if you buy a $200,000 house and you leverage enough assistance, you may only have to borrow like $125,000 or $135,000. And if you can only borrow $135,000 when you're buying a $200,000 house, that's going to make your payment be more affordable. That's going to put it within reach.
So I would concur with the credit scores and the down payments. But something else that I see a lot, I work statewide, is people talk about timing. Oh, don't buy in the winter, only buy in the spring. Oh, the interest rate is going to go up. Oh, the Fed's meeting in 3 months. Wait. When you start saying to your family, to your circle of friends, I want to buy, everybody has an opinion. Your uncle missed the market. Your father, something happened. Your grandfather, something happened. If you want to buy, start working now.
All right. One of the myths that I've heard a lot of, and it doesn't pertain really to none of anything that they actually touched on. And I get a lot of people to come to me to talk about their background. They'll be like, hey, I don't think I can buy a house because I had a background from 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago, but now I'm working, I'm established, I got my family going, I'm working on building my credit. So I meant your background has no bearing on a decision for a lender or a realtor to work with you. Like, we can't just single you out because you got a background. Like, I've helped and worked with numerous people from all walks of life with all kinds of different backgrounds, and they still became homeowners. Some thought that they couldn't. I feel like some of them a lot of them were ready before, but until they came or met somebody that was advocating for them to debunk that myth, they were able to own homes. So I get that a lot about people's backgrounds hindering them from buying houses. That is 100% false. Criminal background. Yeah, so not true. I've worked with, like I said, people from all walks of life, and they've become homeowners. So with criminal backgrounds from 5 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, it doesn't matter. So a lender's not going to loan to you or look at your background and say, we're not going to loan to you because you made a mistake, 20 years ago or anything like that. So.
I may be I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but I do want to put this out there. Home ownership has always been taglined the American dream. And it does provide so many opportunities for generating wealth. It provides opportunities for you to sort of drive your own destiny about what your home looks like, who your neighbors are. But when you're considering home ownership, your payment, that is not the end-all be-all. You have to have savings for the rainy day, and it will come. The roof has to be replaced. I had a Habitat homeowner call me this past week. She wanted to know who we recommended locally for putting on a new roof. She's been in her home 20 years. Water heaters. I know that doesn't sound like a big expense, but if you're already strapped every month with your car payment and your house payment and your health care and your child care and your groceries, don't max out on your mortgage. Don't max out. Try to wait, get a savings, a nest egg there, because the rainy day will come. And I will say this, A home inspection will be one of your best friends. And I'm sure the real estate folks are going to talk to you about that if they haven't already. You need that home inspection because there could be things lurking. Even if it's your friend who's trying to sell you their home, they could not even be aware of it themselves. But you buy that home, and then 6 months later, you've got mold all over your attic and in your crawl space and bats and who knows what is going to happen. So I'm just cautioning you. Savings is an essential piece of your planning, okay?
Thank you. Any questions from the audience about any myths? Okay, next question. If someone here is renting today and wants to buy in the next 12 to 24 months, what are the first 3 steps they should take from your perspective?
Well, at Habitat, and what I will speak to today is you would make an application with us, and we have application cycles twice a year. We're going to have one soon. I have a new family services manager, and once her legs are underneath her and she's on her feet, we'll have an application class because our program is not quick. It takes approximately 18 months before your home is underway, and that's because we require some sweat equity, and we require you to take Jessica's class, the home ownership class. Is Jessica here? Okay. We require that, and once you've been approved. And our process takes about 18 months because we want you to have enough time to take that class, get some savings, repair your credit, because we want to see you clean up stuff that should be cleaned up if you've got any, and then have time to work on your own house and work with our volunteers.
I would say the first thing that you need to know is that your Vantage score is totally different from your mortgage score. Vantage scores are scores that pop up on like Credit Karma, or even if you maybe go to your local credit union and you get something that way, they're usually using the Vantage score. The mortgage score is probably going to be 20 to 30 to 40 to maybe even 50 points lower. So your mortgage score is going to be your FICO 542. You want to write that down. Your Vantage scores are probably going to be FICO 8. Please keep in mind, and don't get mad at us if you say you have a 660 and then you really find out that you have a 580 or 590, okay? So remember that mortgage scores are going to be different from your Vantage score. Also, I have a wonderful acronym that I like to use. It's CIA, Credit, Income, Assets. We are going to look at your credit scores and credit history. We're going to expect you to have a 2-year work history. It can be W-2 or self-employed. That's your income. And then your assets are your savings. It can be your actual savings in your checking and savings accounts, your retirement, or even the gifts, the grants, and things like that are going to come out. But again, start that conversation. Don't be embarrassed. Don't let your pride get in the way. As soon as you're thinking about becoming a homeowner, talk to someone because we are on your side.
I would say overall, the first thing I would advise that person to do would be whatever it takes to become mortgage ready. It's the biggest financial transaction that you'll ever take in your life. And some people approach that nonchalantly, or they think that it's going to be very casual and they're going to not be prepared, and it's going to catch them totally off guard, and it's going to be a less than a stellar or great experience. So the first thing to become mortgage ready is I would advise anybody to take Virginia Housing's free homebuyer education class. It's free. Did I mention that it was free? It's online. It's 8 modules that are 45 minutes long. So you have to invest a total of 6 hours into this at your own pace because you don't have to go anywhere. It's online. Do it in your pajamas. Okay. And it will cover everything that's involved with home ownership from the point where the idea first pops into your head. Like to buy a house. Okay. It covers from that point all the way through choosing a lender, choosing realtors, getting home inspections, credit, having a family spending plan, or also known as budget. It tells you through closing, and it even talks to you about house maintenance. Once the house becomes yours, it teaches you about how to do maintenance on your own house. Because if you're a renter, if something goes wrong with the house, you're used to just calling the landlord to fix it. Well, when you are a homeowner, you are the landlord. So you have to set aside money and on a regular basis to cover, like when the roof needs replacing or the water heater needs replacing and things like that. So that would be the best first step. This with coming out of the home buyer education, I think the best thing that a household could do would be to create a budget or a spending plan. That is the number one thing that you could do, because most people have no idea how much money they make. They don't have any idea how much they're spending. And we look just at debt to income ratios, which is only your debts compared to your income. But there's a lot of other things that are in a household spending plan that you spend money on that's not going to be considered. You might only have a car payment that's a reasonable amount, but you might go to Starbucks 3 times a day and spend $50 a day on coffee, or $100. You might have all kinds of activities and hobbies and habits that you're doing that would sink you if you were to take a mortgage out. If the only thing that you were considering was my debt and my income and my debt obligations. Another thing would be start saving money, especially when you join that with your household spending plan. The goal would be that you have enough money left over each month, even before you buy the house, where you could be setting aside a certain amount of money into your bank account and into savings. And that would show, so that if you get to the point where you're renting for $1,000 a month now, and your mortgage payment is going to become $2,000 a month, the lender is going to look at you and say, how are you going to handle that? How are you going to cover that increase in your housing expense? And if you say, well, I've been putting away $500 a month every month for the last 2 years, that would be a really good answer. If you said, well, my payment is going up $1,000 a month, and I have no idea how I'm going to cover it, just trust me, I can cover it. That's a really bad answer. That's a really bad answer to that. So, and then the last thing would be, in addition to working on fixing your credit, we've talked about increasing your credit scores. Use that time to look at the amount of debt that you have and try to reduce some of it, especially if you have big car payments. I mean, I know I've seen many people, they have a car payment of $700 a month. Or they have a husband and a wife, and they have 2 car payments that total $1,300 a month. Let me tell you, that is your house payment. I have seen so many times where somebody, a family, a couple, want to buy a home. They need a home. They should be in a home, but they're driving their home around. It's on 4 wheels, and nobody can really afford to have 2 car payments that total $1,300 a month and then expect to go out and buy a house where the payment is going to be more than even that. So if you have multiple car payments, or if you're thinking about buying that really shiny, bright new sports car or big mammoth truck that you want to have and everything, if you do, quite likely it's going to impede you from being able to get on board with becoming a homeowner.
All right. So the 3 things that I would look at would be, credit, counseling, and of course your savings and your habits, right? And with that said, I would say that counseling would be your first goal. A counselor is not just someone who pushes a budget sheet across from you and says, take this home, fill it out, come back in a week, right? They are going to be bothering you. They're going to be picking on you and telling you, what do you mean you spent $300 on other last month? What was that? Were they wants or were they needs, right? The shiny truck, is that a want or is that a need? My daughter's in school. I tell her all the time, no new car, We just bought her a $2,000, what do they call them?
I call them clunkers.
Clunkers. Okay, a clunker. It gets her from class to her apartment and to work. And that's all she needs, right? No car payment, because that's the need. Her want is a brand new Mustang, but that's not going to happen. So really work with the counselor. They become a mentor, all right? And the counselors work through, a lot of times through HUD. There's no cost for you to see them, and they're invested. So when that counselor starts working with you, it's not just your budget. They're going to talk to you about income. They're going to talk to you about your choices. They're going to talk to you about what kind of programs are available and how you would get there. And that's really the goal. And the other thing is like our savings account that Sabrina manages, the VITA account. During that account, it's usually a 2-year program. So a lot of people come to us who are thinking long-term about owning a home, and they join kind of a mentorship program, and there's counseling and there's classes, and they learn to handle their money better.
All right, mine will be pertaining with realtors. Apparently, do your research on your realtors. There's over 900 realtors just here in this area. Your realtor don't have to be your best friend. It don't have to be somebody that it needs to be somebody that's going to work for you and that's going to be compatible with you, that understands your schedule and understand your needs. Set your expectations from the beginning with your realtor. Do not start the process looking, and you're on the 10th house, and then you're just talking about your expectations. You tell he or she who you choose, what your expectations is from the beginning. Because at the end of the day, we work for you. And we have to know what your expectations are, and we also will give you what our expectations are as well. And don't be afraid to ask questions. I find it a lot of people, it's a learning process when you're when you're going through the home buying process. And a lot of people do not ask questions because it's no such thing as I was taught as a dumb question. Because I still ask questions, and it doesn't matter how long you've been in it. You're going to be asking questions. We want it to be a learning process for both, more importantly, the home buyer, but for also the realtor, because that realtor is learning you, learning your family, learning your needs, your expectations. So make sure you set that line of expectations and communication from the beginning with your realtor.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the audience from this question? If not, next question. What are common mistakes that delay home ownership, and how can people avoid them?
One way to say this, I find that the people are the reason, or that particular person is the reason that home ownership's delayed. Because Susie over here said it was going to be, her talked about when she bought a house 5 years ago, or John said you shouldn't do it because you're going to have to put 20% down. That's one of the most common mistakes I find in delaying people. And then by the time they get to me, it's like we find that they check all the boxes off and they could have bought long time ago. It was really no delay. It was just them being influenced or listening to other people around them and what their experiences are. And what I like to tell my clients is that every single buyer has a different, unique and different situation. Your home buying situation or experience is not going to be like this person's was. It may not be like what this person was. The thing is that if you becoming a homeowner, it's because of something that you're doing yourself, and that's going to make you unique in itself. So that's one of the things I find is that people themselves hold themselves back because they are listening to all the chatter and the outside noise and experiences that went on, and it puts them in like a fear type state of mind. And so when they come to us, we have to work through that to kind of get them like, have some confidence to go through the program with us. So just start. I mean, all I can say, if you want to buy, don't be afraid to put that foot out there and get going. So.
And to kind of work from that, I think one of the biggest mistakes that I see is thoughts, right? Thoughts are very dangerous. Your mind and body follow your thoughts. If you sit down with a counselor and that counselor says, all right, your credit score is 491, we got to get you to 450 or 650, and you push back and say, oh, I can't. That's too hard. Guess what? Your habits follow that. I can now buy that third Starbucks coffee because I'm never going to get there, right? You have to put you first, and you have to think, I can and I will. And is this a want or is this a need? Keeping your lights on is a bill you need. Buying Starbucks every morning on your way to work is a want. And that's where we have to draw the line is, I want the house. I need the house. So I'm going to give up my other needs.
I would go back to my comments about what they should do, what a person should do during that 12 to 24 months. And the big mistakes would be they don't do those things. They just enter into the home buying process blindly, or thinking that it's just going to be a casual transaction, no different than opening up a credit card or perhaps getting a car loan. And it is radically different. So the number one the number one mistake that I think people would make is they don't have a budget. They don't have a household spending plan. And because of that, they have no idea how much money they're spending on soft things that are not debts, like a car payment, but it's still money leaving your wallet. It's still leaving your purse. Most people, if they would go through a 30-day process of tracking what they're spending, would be absolutely shocked at how much they're wasting. And then when they say, well, I don't have enough money to buy a house, it's because they made 100 or 1,000 different choices the previous month where they spent money on without even thinking. And when you have a household spending plan or a budget, it makes you think, it makes you be aware. And then you think, wow, I spent $1,000 on, and that I have nothing to show for it. If I could make a few adjustments to my behavior and become more thoughtful about my spending, I could put that $1,000 towards saving for a house, or I could put that $1,000 towards actually jumping in my rent from $1,000 a month to $1,000, $2,000 mortgage payment. So I really want to emphasize that. That's the number one mistake that I think people make. The other would be going back to the truck scenario, the truck problem, and that is too many people have to in their minds have the newest, most expensive monster truck, and they're spending $800, $900 for a payment. Or they're married and they have two of those and they have $1,500 worth of car payments. I can literally guarantee you that unless you are really in the top echelon of income earners in Lynchburg, if you have a $900 truck payment or you have two car payments that are totaling $1,400 a month, you are not going to be purchasing a home. And you ought to be working on what do I need to do to rid myself of one or both of those, or what can I do to lower those payments? Those would be the greatest things that you could do to increase the chances of your success in becoming a homeowner.
Pride, dishonesty, and co-signing. Please be honest with your loan officer. We are going to find out. So if you If you have child support payments, if you have personal loans that maybe only show up because you have it through your retirement, so it shows up on your check, we're going to find all of that out. You should always work with someone that you feel comfortable talking with. If you don't feel that you have a good vibe or a good relationship, or that the conversations that you're having, you don't feel comfortable, you have to find somebody else. But don't let your pride get in the way of you reaching your goal. Be honest about every aspect of your home buying journey, and do not co-sign for anybody. That person may come to you and they may be desperate. I need you. I'm only going to do this. We only need to do it for 3 months or 6 months or a year. And then next thing you know, that vehicle has gotten repossessed, or they've never ever thought that they were going to get you off of that home loan. So now it's keeping you from being able to do what you want to do. So pride, dishonesty, and co-signing. Remember that, okay?
Ditto.
Any follow-up questions from that? If not, we're at our last question. And our last question is, for someone who feels discouraged or left behind, what would you say to them about their ability to become a homeowner?
I would say just don't give up hope. It doesn't matter. Like in many areas of life, you can sink yourself into a real hole, but that doesn't define your life. That doesn't chain you to that scenario. There's always a chance to rebuild and to redeem yourself and to work towards success. So I have, because of the benefit programs that Virginia Housing offers and the DHCD offers, that LNCAG offers, the counseling, the homebuyer education, I have seen so many people in my 45 years in the business that have gone from where they didn't think that they could buy to where they went through the process. And sometimes it takes time. Sometimes you have to be patient. It's not going to always be an overnight thing. But I've seen so many people that have worked with those resources and they've been successful. So that would be my number one piece of encouraging advice to you is don't give up hope. You might have to work hard. You might have to become disciplined and make choices. But if no matter where you're starting from, you can use these resources that we've talked about up here today, and you can turn things around and you can become a homeowner. And becoming a homeowner for yourself and your family is the number one thing that you can do to help pass along generational wealth. Generational wealth is not just a matter of having an expensive home. It will influence your health care. It will influence the education choices that you'll make for your children and your grandchildren. It will influence the legacy that you want to leave for the generations that will follow you. The average homeowner in America, their net worth is 20 times higher than that of somebody who's renting. So if you want to really make an impact on your family's life now and in the generations to come, even if you're in a hole now, even if you think that it's impossible, that you could never overcome these challenges, it's possible. And you can lean into good realtors, to good lenders, to the organizations like DHCD and Virginia Housing, Habitat for Humanity. We are a network that is committed to giving you a hand up to help you to become successful homeowners.
Be open to learning. It is okay to be educated. And the persons that you are talking to are the experts in that area. Also, look at it as a journey. I call it a home buying journey. The day that you plant the seed is not the day that you eat the fruit. So when you are on this home buying journey, as the young kids say, life be lifing, right? I had a borrower. His name is Mike. He's a single dad, not you. single dad of 5 children, and we met in 2022. Our process took 18 months because guess what? He went through a divorce. He wound up switching jobs. He was in the process of getting custody of his children. But when I first started talking to him, he said, Letitia, my goal is to buy a house for every one of my kids. And so we walked through the process. We looked at his credit. We looked at his income. We looked at his assets. He got a plan. He stumbled a couple of times. But because we had that relationship and that rapport, he closed on his home, a new build actually, and he told the builders, I'm not using your lender. I'm going with Letitia because I know her and she has worked with me and I trust her. But he became a homeowner, and his 5 children, each of them have their own bedroom, and he called me and said, I'm coming back. So it's possible. But we have to be open to learning. We cannot go to the table thinking that we know everything. Be open to learning. Put your pride aside. Be honest. Don't co-sign for anybody. And just know that it is possible. If you can envision it, it can happen.
I think one of the best stories that I have was working with a lady I'm from Fredericksburg, and it took her 5 years to be able to purchase a home. But, you know, you talk about enthusiasm. She would show up. She started in public housing. She had lost her children. She worked and came to see the counselor. And when, you know, a giant obstacle got in her way, she would tell me, I'm going to go home and breathe, and I'll see you next week. And guess what? Every week she came back. She ended up having to fix credit, having to get a better job. She took a certificate program through the community college. She got a job at the hospital. She worked and worked. During that time, the public housing was actually raised. She had to relocate, still on the Section 8 program, and still worked and still saved and still built her future. And she closed on a house, and I went to her closing, and she told me, I never did tell you my middle name. It's Destiny. So that was several years ago. I have watched her 2 little boys. She lives about 10 minutes from me, and they are both in high school now in the same house that she owns. So it can happen.
Pretty much what I would say, my advice would be, it echoes some of what some others have said here, is to never give up. And what I tell my clients when I'm sitting in front of them, we're meeting for the first time, is you are a homeowner. You know, and that's whether they are just coming to initially consult and they're not ready to buy, or they are ready to buy. I tell them, you are a homeowner. No matter how long it's going to take, we're going to get there. One story I'd like to tell, and Jessica Thompson, which she's not here with Lynn Cagg, they played a big part in this. I had a buyer who was renting she rented a house for 21 years. The first time for 10 years, then she left and came back and was on her 11th year when I came in contact with her. And what I found disturbing is that it won't because she couldn't qualify. It won't because nobody had ever told her. Landlord, I mean, she never bumped into anybody that really explained the home buying process for her. But she went through the process, ended up being pre-approved. She closed on the house. We worked out the numbers with the seller so that they gave her credit. So she, obviously people are going to say you didn't pay 2 or 3 times for the house over, but we were able to get the numbers to where they gave her, we was able to negotiate, they gave her credit for the time that she had paid. And so we was able to work out the sales price to be exactly that. But what I'm saying to you is that, I mean, she was never a homeowner until she was in her 60s. And so sometimes it is timing and patience is what I see. I mean, obviously not every situation is like that, but sometimes it is. And everybody's path to home ownership is different. But at the end of the road, you become a homeowner, and that's what matters the most.
I'd just like to echo what Mike said. First-time home buyers are not all 20 and 30-year-olds. In fact, the average age of a first-time home buyer now, I believe, is north of 40 years old. And I have had numerous occasions as a loan officer and as a business development officer with Virginia Housing, where I have worked with people where first-time home buyers were 70 years old, 80 years old. I think I had a transaction in Roanoke recently where a 90-year-old woman became a first-time home buyer. So age is not a barrier. So do not be discouraged. There is hope. There are resources. It's not pie in the sky, blind hope. You have to do a little work. You have to plug into these resources, but it's never impossible. It's always possible.
There are 322 stories at Habitat. You want to hear them all? Or, I would say if you've been discouraged, take advantage of everything up here. Habitat works with Virginia Housing. We've got recently had a client who did the VITA program. She brought $11,000 to her closing. Habitat doesn't require that. I'll just put this out there. Our closing costs are $1,000, no down payment, because we help you access down payment assistance that we already have the funds. So a recent sale, the house appraised for $200,000. The home buyer is north of 40 by a long way, single. His house payment is $495. He had a $47,000 down payment assistance grant, and his mortgage is $153,000. So don't give up. Please visit our table. If you are a person with low income now, visit our table back there. I'll show you the income requirements for the size of your family, and you can consider Habitat for Humanity.
All right, we're going to thank our panel. Let's give them a round of applause for all of this information. And I hope you feel empowered just listening to some of these stories. Some of them give you chills, just some of these recent stories. So this is just saying you are a homeowner and you're on your way. So I hope you took that message as a takeaway. You all in this room are homeowners. You're on your way. So I'll turn this back over to the next thing on the agenda. And thank you all so much once again. Please make sure you come by. Everyone has a table. Am I correct? So stop by their tables to get the information that they just spoke about. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Okay, so we heard all this great knowledge. If you got to get up and shake your legs out, I need to make sure. Okay, nobody needs to get up and shake their legs, just me? Okay, you good? All right. Okay, some of them stretching. All right, some of them stretching. It's okay, because I want you to be ready. Want you to be ready. So you don't have to answer these questions out loud, but you heard what the panel said, so it's not like I'm pulling your leg. I'm a certified credit counselor, Virginia housing trainer, all of that stuff. So we want to make sure before you go to the lenders, it's okay to stop to the housing organization. You're going to go to all of them today, but you want to be able to say yes to these questions before you hit the lender and the realtors. You can get a yes because they have free counseling and coaching. Because you're here, you'll get free counseling and coaching from me. There's all of these places. So there's no excuse not to get to your home. And I'm going to say in 2026, because you have what you need. So can you say yes to a 650 and above credit score? You don't have to raise your hand, but you lock it in your mind. Can you say yes to a debt-to-income ratio? Well, Coach, how do I get to my debt-to-income ratio? So it's 43% and below. So your monthly debt payments, Hair salons are not monthly debt payments. Okay, that is anything that's on your credit score. Okay? Monthly debt payments divided by your gross income. I know you don't get all the money, but this is based on your gross income. Before FICA and Uncle Sam get their piece. And then you multiply it by 100 so we can get a percentage. If you're 43%, 0.1 is too high. We want to get as close to zero. So if your monthly payments are $500 total, the monthly payments, divided by your $1,000, I don't know what you make, I'm just doing basic math for me. Divided by $1,000 of gross income, what is your debt to income ratio? Too high. It's 50%. You need 650 and above credit score. I heard them say 580 will let you in, but you want all your options. You don't want just enough to get in the door. You want all your options. 43% and below, and then 1 to 3 months of expenses saved, because you heard them say you will pay for an appraisal. It is $300 to $500. You will pay for a home inspection. If you don't, shame on you. It's another $300 to $500. And the rain will come. So you need to have some rainy day fund. So at least 1 to 3 months of expenses, $1,000 to $3,000. You ebb or flow, you know your expenses. But you want to be able to say yes to these three. If in your mind you said no to any of those three, you see the email, you've heard the context, get the cards. Call us. We're not going to rope you around and drag you in. It is your next step. Go to the next slide. She's going to come with the giveaway, but we're going to come, not yet. Go to the next slide. We'll come back to the giveaway. Because I want them to see. So on your table, there's, on the back side of your agenda, there's a passport. Now, you're on a journey, right? So we're giving you a passport. We want you to see some lenders. There are 2 here. See both of them. See both of them. Get as much information as you can. Get your stamp. You don't have to see both of them, but I recommend that you do. See at least one realtor, but they have 4 here. Why not see them all? Because you want to see which personality matches with yours. But you need at least one. You have to see at least 2 housing organizations, but we have 4 here. Why not see each one? Because you heard we can stack. I don't know if y'all play Uno that way, but in my house, we stack. Okay? And then there's one financial coach, but that's not really true. My table is one financial coach, but you heard that DH, you know the name, right? They have free financial coaches. There's a free financial coach. There's a free financial coach. And there are some others that have free financial coaches. You're not limited, because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to push you hard, because you're going to get to the goal. She'll tell you, we're going to get to the goal. Can't waste 20 years of military training for nothing. All right, so then you're going to go around to these vendors. You're going to get a stamp. No stamp means you ain't show up. Then you're going to do the post-event survey. We want to know, did we give you A event, B event, C? What do you need next time for the next step? So do the post-event survey. Most of you have a phone. Scan it. Do the event survey so we know how to make this better, what to give you your next step. Without that event survey, you don't get fed. So it is a give and take. Without going through these stages, you don't get your home either. We want you to become a homeowner. You wouldn't have showed up on a Saturday if you didn't want the same thing. So, onward to home ownership. She's coming to give you more prizes, but get those stamps, survey, and then enjoy your lunch. You don't have to leave. You can take it if you want to, but you can sit here and enjoy your lunch. Thank you.